Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it. Hello out there! This is Angel 2001 coming at you with a quick personal figure. This is Vanilla the Rabbit! I've been wanting to make Vanilla for such a long time, but, never really got around to it. But whilst browsing through the Toys R Us section at Macy's, disappointed that they didn't have any new Sonic figures, I passed by the Disney Princess area and saw this Rapunzel figure that actually looked like it was a pretty good base. So, inspiration hit, and now we're going to get a Vanilla. But first, even though she wasn't introduced in the comic, I feel like she's worthy of a backstory because she's very unique as a character. As far as I'm aware, she's the only canon living parent for the entire Sonic crew. Like, none of the other characters have any kind of family in the video games, at least. Like, I'm not counting the Archie comic books or the Deep cartoons or the animes or whatever. As far as the video games are concerned, like, as far as living parents go, Vanilla's it. She's the only one. She is Cream the Rabbit's mother, and did indeed debut with Cream in Sonic Advance 2, where, she kind of appears at the end of the game. Like, she makes a couple of appearances. One is when you finish playing the game as Cream, she lands after blowing up the Death Egg, and then, she meets up with her mom. Hooray! And then, there's the final boss scene where Dr. Eggman kidnaps her. I have no idea why he's kidnapping Vanilla. And I'm not going to inspire those fanfictions. I probably just already did, whatever. And Sonic has to rescue her as Super Sonic. Her other appearance is at the end of Sonic Advance 3, where General washes up on the sea after having been defeated as the final boss, and Tails repairs him, and he goes on to live with Cream and Vanilla in their home. I guess maybe he still has some memories of back when he was Emerald, and Emerald did befriend Cream, so this kind of makes logical sense for his character. And that's really Vanilla's contribution to the video game. She doesn't really make any other appearances, even though Cream would for several other times. But Vanilla would factor into the Sonic X anime quite a bit. She was introduced at the end of the second season when, after the Sonic Adventure arc, after the Sonic Adventure 2 arc caused a chunk of Sonic's world to be brought in with Chaos Control, and we were introduced to the Chaotix and all that stuff. Then we got, we got Vanilla, and Cream and Vanilla were reunited. And, well, that she filled the part as a mom. Like, she doesn't have any real big action roles and anything like that. Although, this is the place where we saw the seeds of Vector's crush on her. It's been made pretty explicit in the anime, and it's followed on into the comic books that get published to this very day, that Vector kind of has a thing for her. It's actually kind of on the nose, seeing as how Vector is one of only 3 characters that's a legal adult in Sonic canon. He's canonically 20 years old, I should say. Which leads me to wonder what Vanilla's age is. Her age has always been left ambiguous, but I would estimate she has to be at least 24. I say this because Cream is 6, and I'm figuring Sega wants to keep their adorable mascot characters as good role models, so I'm guessing Vanilla would have been at least 18 when Cream was born, hence the minimum age of 24. That's where I put it. Okay, so, Vanilla also made appearances in the Archie comics, where she basically did the same thing, serving as the domestic housewife, and, did she just call Gemerald dear? Is Gemerald her robo-husband? I'm probably gonna inspire some more fanfictions, but, what exactly is the relationship between Vanilla and this robot that lives in her house and spends all of her time with her when her daughter isn't home? Okay, I'm pretty sure I just got demonetized for that one, or at least people are thinking things that would get me demonetized if I said them out loud. So moving on to the IDW comic where she is, essentially she is still fulfilling the same role. Vanilla's character hasn't really changed over the years. Like, she's just pretty much been this solid rock, this domestic baseline. I do, however, love this scene where Amy and Rouge are terrified of her. Now, this has inspired a personal headcanon in me that Vanilla used to be an action badass. I'm totally in belief that in her younger years, she was every bit the adventurer that Sonic was. She probably explored the world and did all kinds of awesome stuff. And even though she's retired from all that so that she can raise her daughter in peace, she's still, she could totally whoop you if she wanted to. Hence the raw terror that you're seeing in the other two girls in this scene. In fact, in the very next panel, Rouge just kind of yeeted herself out of this conversation. You could see the outline where she once sat, and Amy feeling the betrayal of being abandoned to Vanilla's apparent wrath. Okay, so that's all the fun backstory stuff for Vanilla, so let's actually get to making her toy. Now, the thing with Vanilla is she's canonically quite tall. Here's her bio card from Sonic X, showing her to be 130 centimeters. Translating that into freedom units, that's 4'3". That makes her significantly taller than most other characters. Like, I believe Sonic's accepted height is about 3.5 feet tall, 3'6". So she's a whole 9 inches taller than that. This has actually led speculation to believe among myself and artists for the comic that Sonic isn't fully grown yet. Why would he be? He's only 15. He still has years to grow. So adult Mobian characters, such as Vanilla, are usually depicted at around the 4-foot range. For example, Dr. Starline was also 4 feet tall. So I needed a figure that was just a little bit taller than the Jakks Pacific Sonic figures, or would end up that way once I customized them, so that she could appear appropriately tall when standing next to the Jakks Pacific figures. And like I said at the beginning of the video, that was this Rapunzel figure. I also chose it because the dress actually had vague similarities. The fabric part is the same shade of purple that Vanilla's dress is, and she has that poofy sleeve thing going on. So I just needed to get a head. In this case, it's a 3D model, which was made by a fellow DeviantArt user, whose name I am frantically attempting to look up at this very instant. It was J.C. Thornton. Yes, J.C. Thornton was his name. So yeah, go to DeviantArt, look up J.C. Thornton. He has an excellent 3D model of Vanilla that he made. I had Corey separate the head from it and separate the ears from the head so that I wouldn't get a whole bunch of support media blockage. And yeah, we got Vanilla's head. And then the rest of the body was relatively light. There was sculpting required on the body itself, of course. This is, I had to sculpt the details of her dress, like the buttons, the little tie that she wears, because she's very well put together. She's an elegant lady wearing a very nice dress. And part swapping, 3D printed hands, they're Cream's hands, and the shoes are, the shoes are just a pair of wave shoes. In fact, they're the weird wave, the one that they colored wrong. I just kind of cut the pegs off so I could glue Rapunzel's feet into there. I guess I didn't take any work in progress shots of that part. So, there is one thing. If you watch me on Patreon or you follow me on Game Jolt or Figure Realm, you might have seen an upload of this Vanilla figure, which has changed by now. The thing is, when I first uploaded, I just kind of stuck Rapunzel's feet into the wave feet, and it gave her really skinny pencil ankles. I thought that this looked kind of weird, so I went in and I sculpted around her ankles to make them look a little thicker to match the width of the legs that Sonic characters have, and that makes it look a little bit better. So those are the pictures you're seeing here, and on Game Jolt and Figure Realm, you see the pictures have been replaced. So that's vanilla, right? Yes, the figure stands about 4.5 inches tall to the top of her head, 4 3/4 if you count the tips of her ears. So she is about twice as tall as the Cream figure. She's just a little bit taller than Sonic. She's actually the same height as Vector, which is actually perfect, as far as I'm concerned for action figure scaling. And yes, the Rapunzel figure has limited articulation. She only has swivel-cut shoulders, and she does have universally jointed hips, but there's no knees or ankles or wrists or anything like that. So it's not exactly going to be used for stop motions in the future, but, this is vanilla. She's not exactly known... She's not exactly known for, super expressive posing and actiony things that she's done. So I think that that's fine. Alright, so this video has gone on long enough. What is this, the 10-minute mark? Yeah, so let's end it here. Thank you all for watching. This is Wake Angel 2001, signing off.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic the Hedgehog. Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001. Because between you and me, they're way past cool.